Good morning, YouTubers. Welcome to the channel. All right, guys. Well, here it is. Has BlackRock been buying up homes, buying out Americans, buying out the locals, and the average middle class getting bought out? Well, I'm not doubting one bit. We did talk about amerifornia here on the channel. While a lot of other channels were talking about a correction in housing market during the Great American Selection, not election. This election took place, not an election. The day the votes were counted and they shut that down, I made a video and said a Biden win, and now what? It's amerifornia, where all of America turns into California. But is it Blackstone? Or BlackRock? Blackstone. It's not Blackstone. And I'm going to tell you who it is. And I'm going to tell you how it's been happening and how long it's been happening. And I've been covering the complete Commonwealth: Australia, New Zealand, the UK. That includes Ireland, Scotland, right? Wales, and Canada, of course. And the blue states in America. This rare, well, it's not a rare phenomena, but just tons of money just being dumped on the shores, being parked into real estate here. California is a great example in America. California, it's been going on since the 1990s, 2000s. And it's gotten strong with the whole regime change in China in the early 2010s and 12s and 15s. You started to see massive movement of money around, and it got worse now with Hong Kong dumping their money in. So we're going to go over this. This is from Wolf Street. The stories behind business, finance, and money. I suggest you guys go check them out. These guys write beautiful written articles that actually explain things in a way where the average person could understand it. And it's not written in code. And I like these guys. And it's by, of course, Wolf Richer. It was published June 20th, yesterday. And there's 92 comments on it. So I kind of want to read this out for you guys and kind of instill my experience in following this housing vacancy patterns and these cities turning into empty wastelands pretty much, and being filled with foreign money and making homeowners rich on paper, but the average middle-class person out of reach, right? It's gotten so bad in Canada and Australia that they're having a tough time finding first-time home buyers anymore. No one could get into the markets. So here it is. No, Blackstone didn't buy 17,000 houses out from under desperate home buyers. And BlackRock didn't buy a whole neighborhood, but built it to rent is a huge change. But here it is. So they didn't buy a whole neighborhood too. So so you're out there. Internet BS made from twisted headlines is fun to spread, but reality is a lot more interesting. By Wolf Richer for Wolf Street. The social media and comment sections, including the illustrious Wolf Street comments, are on fire again with another headline based on a headline in the Wall Street Journal. And spread by people who refuse to even read the first paragraph. The meme is that PE from Blackstone Group bought 17,000 houses for $6 billion. It's kind of funny because in Canada, that doesn't buy you many homes at the price of our homes here. Outbidding regular people and thereby making it impossible for regular people to buy those houses amid a red-hot housing market. So while other YouTubers were predicting the crash in 2020, I was the opposite. I said housing is going to double, triple in price. amerifornia will spread across America. And America will turn into California. America's 4 or 5 years behind the rest of the Commonwealth. They're going to start playing the supply issue like they did in Canada. We don't have enough supply to fill the demand. They're going to play that game. And that's just going to prop the fire market. What's the fire market? That's the real estate, insurance, brokerage, construction, all the Mickey Mouse that goes into. And they're going to start building America's economy more on real estate. Right? America's behind. Because you can still go to Alabama and buy something for $100,000, like something okay. You could buy something in Florida still for $200,000 around Ocala and other areas. Yeah, so you can still get, with Canada, we don't have many major cities, so we're screwed. We're either homeless or we're couch surfing somewhere, or we got in at the right time, right? Alas, a gorgeous, ridiculous internet BS, Blackstone didn't go around the US grabbing 17,000 houses, outbidding regular mom and pop buyers with its $6 billion war chest. On the contrary, Blackstone bought an entire company, Home Partners of America, that already owned 17,000 single-family houses. Home Partners buys houses and rents them out to tenants with the option to buy and preset a preset price at any time within 30 days' notice. The company is committed to making homeownership a reality for many people, it says. About 20% of the tenants have so far exercised the option to buy the house they've been renting. That's phenomenal. Here in Canada, we don't have that. You guys in America have first-time homebuyer loans at times. It gets released by the governments. And if you live in your house, you don't have to pay back the government grant. In Canada, they release first-time homebuyer home loans in Canada for first-time homebuyers. And guess what? You have to pay it back at 5% interest. You guys are so lucky in America, you have no idea. So 20% says that they could buy a current market price. So about 20% of the tenants have so far exercised the option to buy the house they've been renting. Kathleen McCarthy, global co-head of Blackstone Real Estate, told the Wall Street Journal. Given recent home price increases for many current tenants, the present purchase price would be below the current market price, she said. And that seems very fair to me. Blackstone Real Estate Income Trust, the fund that is buying Home Partners, invests across commercial real estate. Now, commercial real estate is going to get hit hard, okay, with the failing businesses. Canada, there's 94,000 small businesses that closed in Ontario alone, with the massive shutdown and the Delta ball juice and all that stuff. So, across commercial real estate, multifamily, industrial, hotel, retail, and office, and with this acquisition is now moving into super hot segment of commercial real estate single-family rentals. This follows another internet horror story a few days ago, similarly gorgeous and irresistible allure that went viral on Twitter and elsewhere, including in my inbox. It went something like this: BlackRock is buying the whole neighborhood and outbidding homebuyers by paying 20 to 50% over asking price. Now, in America, you're probably waiting to find out who is doing it. Well, there's a lot of foreign investing coming in. Now, let me explain to you how the foreign investing is working. You got this whole Hong Kong crisis. Now, a lot of governments, Canada and a lot of countries, have been bidding and working with foreign investors to get their money over here. Canada, the blue states in America, and all of Australia, New Zealand, and the UK have been competing for wealthy Chinese investors. Canada has upped its immigration services. It's not immigration, they're under a different act. So when you go under Canada in immigration stats, it's a different story from what you see outside your door. You get a different version of what you've seen, right? They've been competing to a 500,000 Chinese per year, and we covered that here on the channel many times, bringing in big money while they deport more Portuguese families during the pandemic in Canada. So that's been happening a lot, all right? So what is going on? So what the WSJ article actually wrote about was the home builder D.R. Horton had built a subdivision of 124 built-to-rent houses in Conroe, a city near Houston, had found tenants for them, and then marked the whole subdivision in December last year. And marketed the whole subdivision last year. Then a few days ago, the WSJ reported that the winning bid was $32 million by online property investment platform Fundrise LLC. Nope, not BlackRock. The WSJ also reported that the D.R. Horton had made gross margin of up to 50% on selling that subdivision of rental properties, roughly twice the gross margin it gets from selling houses to regular homebuyers. That's perhaps where the ridiculous claim came from that BlackRock, which wasn't even involved, overbid regular home buyers that's paying 20 to 50% over asking. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Yep, those folks had gotten tangled up in reading headlines. Sure, had a lot of fun getting angry about BlackRock driving out first-time home buyers with this $32 million war chest. $32 million doesn't even buy you 15 homes in Canada. In our cities, in our major cities where there's work, you can't buy 15 homes with $32 million. Okay, Okay, you can't buy 18 homes with $32 million. Detached homes like you would buy in the States. You couldn't buy 18 of them for $32 million. But this sort of garbage being fabricated, controlled, and twisted out of unread articles and misrepresented headlines obscure a huge structural change in the housing market and in commercial real estate built to rent developments. Built to rent has become a red hot segment for home builders. A lot of money is flowing into these proposed built rental properties, and it makes sense. These are brand new houses marketed to renters. They're nicely done, but don't have to offer the same quality finishes that home buyer expects when plunking down 400 large. I started discussing this build to rent last year, including in my podcast the Wolf Street Report in early October. So check out the Wolf Street Report, please, guys, if you can. And rather than building one house here and one house there to be rented out, home builders are building whole subdivisions, find tenants, and then sell the entire subdivision to pension funds and other income investors. Big institutional investors have always dominated the multifamily market, such as big apartment buildings. So there's a lot of towers in Seattle. Now, if you guys remember back in 2016, when the city of Vancouver, Canada, implemented the foreign buyers tax, Chinese investors, it says in the article, Chinese investors fled Vancouver, headed to Seattle and Toronto, and destroyed those two housing markets. Look at the housing market from 2016 onwards in Seattle or King County and see what happened, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, pay attention here. A lot of them are corporate companies that own this. So there's a corporate number, and then they do shadow flipping. So they shadow flip one property to another property, and there's the same person, one individual that has two corporations, two entities, and all they're doing is shadow flipping the property so they can launder more and more fentanyl and drug money that's being laundered and being brought onto shore from Chinese CCP factories that make fentanyl and Oxycontin and all that crap in their factories and spill it on American streets. And Canadian streets and Australian streets. And rather than building one house here and one house there to be rented out, home builders, okay, we read that. Big institutional investors have always dominated multifamily markets such as big apartment buildings. But following the housing bust, with the move of encouragement of the Fed, PE firms moved into the single-family market in a big way, buying foreclosed houses. So this is PE firms moved into single-family rental markets in a big way, buying foreclosed houses from the banks. This started in late 2011. They bought for cents on the dollar and concentrating on a handful of the hardest hit big housing. So that's like Miami was hit pretty hard, Arizona, Las Vegas, places like that were hit pretty hard because housing went up way too fast, and America wasn't smart. If they were smart, they would have competed for foreign investing, and then the average house in America now would be $5 million. It'd be ahead of Canada. I'm being sarcastic on that, but yeah. Blackstone was the biggest force and later spun off its creation, Innovation Homes, as a rent to the public. It now rents out 80,000 homes. See, we don't really have that in Canada. We have more of a little bit different here. We don't have a chance. It's very hard for the upper wage earner now to get into housing at all, right? And we have articles that $3,200 or $3,700 a month is now considered affordable housing in the city of Vancouver. You could look that up. It's there. Others of that generation include American Homes for Rent. They are followed by the same route, but existing houses out of foreclosure for cents on the dollar, rehab them if necessary, then rent them out. So, but people are forgetting there's a lot of rent evictions happening, right? All the people that are fleeing Washington State because there's a huge amount of money now that's being flown in. Now, let me talk about that money. We're looking at Americans are crying over $11.1 billion brought in from Hong Kong citizens or brought in by Hong Kongers in 2020. They're crying over that. Oh, I'm out of reach in Montana. Oh, I'm out of reach in Nevada because of all this, this lots of money brought in by foreign investors. Canada got $43 billion brought in 2020 from Hong Kong alone. That's been caught, that they know of. It's $43 billion. They're saying it's around the $90 billion mark that came in 2020. That's why when you want my house I bought for $260 4 years ago or 5 years ago, it's worth like $790 now. So I mean, you could take it and weep, or you could, and I've been telling people get the hell out of the cities. I've been saying it for years. And now with amerifornia coming with your new governance select, you guys are in a lot of trouble. Americans have no idea. Go to my old channel and scan across the channel that I have strike down for a week, and go check. Type in amerifornia and see how many videos come up on that and how bad it is for Americans. They have no idea what's happening. All these channels with 50, 60, a million views on a video. American housing is going to soon crash to this week with the pandemic. No. I said it's going to double and triple because I know. Investors of all kinds are very active in this housing market, now buying at prices that might make it tough to rent the properties out profitably. And D.R. Horton has found out that they're willing to pay an arm and a leg for proposed built development of rental properties. There have been all kinds of big corporate deals recently in the single-family rental market. America Homes for Rent is getting into the built-to-rent segment. It is partnered with J.P. Morgan Asset Management to build $625 million worth of rental houses. Home builder Lenner had got a single-family rental deal with the investment firm that include Centerbridge Partners and Allianz to build over $4 billion worth of single-family rental houses. These are new houses that are going to be added to the U.S. housing stock. So they're playing the overstock. They're playing the overstock game. We don't have supply and demand, and that's what they played in Canada, London, England played that game. Sydney, Australia, they've played the same game. These are now houses that are going to be added to the U.S. stock. They will relieve some of the pressure on the housing market by offering folks an alternative to buying, and they will not compete with home buyers. They will compete with other landlords for tenants. That's good. Rockpoint Group LLC has invested big in single-family rental companies. Brookfield Asset Management acquired a controlling stake in Cornex, which owns over 10,000 single-family rental houses in the Midwest and southeastern U.S. Yet, big industrial investors still own only about 300,000 houses in the U.S., about 2%. A single-family rental market, according to Amherst Pierpont Securities, cited by Wall Street Journal, and 85% of the single-family rental houses are owned by small investors with 10 or fewer properties. Single-family rentals have probably been around as long as single-family houses. What was new about 2011 and 2012 was the entry of the big PE firms with huge amounts of money buying tens of thousands of homes out of foreclosure during the depth of the housing bust. What is new now, nearly 10 years later, is that big sellers such as D.R. Horton are making massive profit margins selling built-to-rent development, and institutional investors that are chasing after the yield in a yield-starved world. And they're doing so by paying extraordinary prices in a red-hot market, hoping for massive rent increases to make this work. So they're hoping, but pay needs to increase. That's the thing. That's the key. If wages don't increase, people will just default on their rents and move out, right? A whole industry has cropped up around single-family rentals in veritable feeding frenzy amid hot market home price spikes that make the whole rental business model financially more difficult to pull off for buyers at current prices. And for renters, well, all those new entrants into the rental market should give them more choices in what they want to rent and a little bit more bargaining power when the landlord tries to hike the rent. Enjoy reading Wolf Street and want to support it using ad blockers. I totally get it why, but want to support the site, you can donate. I appreciate it immensely. Click on the beer and iced tea mug to find out how. So I want to see if I could get him on our financial show here on the channel here. We have a financial show. I'm going to be streaming from the new channel now, so if it gets out of hand, the bigger channel doesn't get flagged, right? And the bigger channel, I could put up a video from time to time just to keep it current and up and rolling. But in Canada, it's a little bit, we've got a massive problem. Seattle, like all the blue states are facing this problem because blue states turn a blind eye to money laundering, to bringing in heaps amount of money, because those states were being supported by a lot of money being brought in. Americans are crying over 11.1 billion or 11.2 billion dollars brought in by Chinese investors or Hong Kongers that are fleeing Hong Kong. Canada got 43 billion brought in 2020, capital flight from China. So with a population 30 million, 35 million, I don't even know how many people live in this country, to be honest with you. Let me know what you guys think. Guys, don't forget to buy a board game at my store. I got my online store there. If you guys want to pick something up, please pick it up. Don't forget to check out Wolf Street here. These guys are amazing. I've read several articles here on this channel, well, the older channel, and we've discussed in depth, amerifornia is coming. While all these big YouTube channels, oh, it's going to crash, oh, it's going to happen, oh, the pandemic, oh, people are out of work. More and more people are behind on their rent 3 months. I think it's 10 million people are several months behind on their rent. And California said the other day that they're going to pay people that owe back rent. They're going to help people out with that. So let's see what happens as America reopens. Canada is still going into more shutdowns, more lockdowns, and Bill C-10 is passed, where they're going to start blocking Canadians from allowing them to voice their opinion online. And all we come with is political demands. We're not on here giving anyone any hassles or trouble. We're just coming on here to give political demands, right? Because right now Canada is sold out to the highest bidder. Your blue states in America, the reason why it's all expensive and taxes keep going up is because the middle class keeps moving out of those cities, and then they're going to have to keep raising taxes on the people that are still there to make up the deficits, right? You have a lot of empty homes littered across America. For every empty home in LA County, there's about 5 homeless. For every homeless person, there's about 4 empty homes. Look it up in LA County. I don't know about the other counties, but I've been following LA County a lot with the devastation that's been happening there. Anyway, guys, set your reminders for tonight's show. We're going to go live. We're going to talk finance. We're going to talk big bucks. Let me know what you think. Comment below. Lots of love. amerifornia is coming. Don't forget it.